to our conscious conversation for this evening, December 30th, the last one of 2020. It's been quite a year when I think of everything that's happened this year, or not happened in some cases. It's really, we all ought to be keeping diaries and journals just to remember. Our guest tonight is going to be Kirk Reeve, a longtime member of Unity of Tustin, who also is our resident expert on the Bible, the metaphysical interpretation of the Bible. It's so interesting to hear someone with Kirk's knowledge talk about the Bible. I don't have a lot of knowledge of the Bible, and it is one of the foundations of our Unity teachings. So I'm committed to doing this monthly class with him to sort of help us all to understand some of the basics, like we all know, I think, what it means to read the Bible literally, but what does it mean to read the Bible metaphysically? And then we're even going to talk about the mystical interpretation of the Bible, which is going even deeper. So this is a foundation of unity. So it's something that all of us can benefit from knowing. So let's begin tonight with our poem. This is a poem by Rumi, and I'm introducing this because Reverend Blair Tabor is going to be offering a 4-week session on the poetry of Rumi starting on January 14th. And there will be more about that in your emails this week. So this poem is called What Was Told That. What was said to the rose that made it open was said to me here in my chest. What was told to the cypress that made it strong and straight? What was whispered the jasmine, so it is what it is? Whatever made sugarcane sweet, whatever was said to the inhabitants of the town of Chigil in Turkestan that makes them so handsome, whatever lets the pomegranate flower blush like a human face, that is being said to me now. I blush. Whatever put eloquence in language, that's happening here. The great warehouse doors open. I fill with gratitude, chewing a piece of sugar cane, in love with the one whom every that belongs. Now let's listen to a song from New Thought musician Sue K. Riley. you, Sue. Now we want to offer a prayer for all of the people on our December prayer list who have requested prayer, and also for all of us to take this moment in prayer. So let's just enter into the space within. Let's quiet our mind. Let's open our heart. And let's step into that inner space where Holy Spirit dwells. We offer this prayer for those with us this evening, for their health and prosperity, for their well-being and inner peace. We also pray for those who are not with us this evening, for their health and prosperity, for their well-being and inner peace. And we especially pray for those who are experiencing pain or distress in mind or body, knowing that each person may shift their awareness to the deep well within that is God, for comfort and guidance, for the connection to the all that is. We know that the peace which passes all understanding lies within for us all, not in our minds only, but in our hearts also. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so it is. So let's hear another song from Sue Riley.
When I'm standing in the shadows and I can't see the light, when I'm waiting at the crossroads I can't tell wrong from right, I think about your stories, I think about your life, I remember what you told me and I know I gotta try. That's the thing about everyday heroes, everyday heroes help us discover that we all can be somebody's everyday hero, everyday hero. You are an everyday hero to me. Everybody has a worry and it stands in our way, but if we're gonna stop dreaming, what a steep price to pay. We can take a look around us, anywhere we go, somebody's gonna remind us, and it's someone we know. I'm talking about everyday heroes, everyday heroes help us discover that we all can be somebody's everyday hero, everyday hero. You are an everyday hero to me. I hear what you're saying, I know what you mean. Heaven knows it ain't easy, but just listen to me. Everyday heroes, everyday heroes help us discover that we all can be somebody's everyday hero, everyday hero. You are an everyday hero to me. You are an everyday hero to me.
Thank you, Sue. Now we'll have our daily word for for December 30th, which is reflect. I take time to reflect on how far I've come. Sometimes I can feel impatient as I travel my spiritual path. I may feel the urge to look ahead to who I want to be, what I want to learn, and the wisdom I'm eager to share. No matter how much I grow, how much I come to understand, or how much I heal from my past, there will always be new vistas ahead, new paths to explore, and even more growth opportunities to pursue. I resist temptation to succumb to feelings of defeat or frustration. Instead, I pause to reflect thoughtfully on the distance I've traveled, the ways I've become stronger and healthier, the forgiveness I've extended to myself and others, and the ways I now express my spiritual nature. I am proud of my progress and eager to continue my journey. In this very famous quote from the Gospel of John, "You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free." So now we'll have our conscious conversation with Kirk Reeve. This evening, we have Kirk Reeve as our guest. Most of you know Kirk, but if you don't, I will introduce you to someone at our church who knows a great deal about the Bible and about the metaphysics of the Bible. And tonight we're going to start with, I think, a really needed explanation. I know I need it, of the difference between the literal, the metaphysical, and the mystical interpretations of the Bible. And Kirk is the person to do it. Thank you, Kirk, for being with us tonight. And, you know, as a person, I think I've said before, I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I learned nothing about the Bible, nothing. I know nothing about the Bible. I know maybe a little about the the New Testament, but almost nothing about the Old Testament. And I do know from my Unity years that Unity sees the Bible in a totally different way than, you know, for example, other practices. So tell me about, I think I understand a little about the literal interpretation of the Bible. Does that literally mean people believe there was a Noah's Ark, for example?
That's an example of the literal. But let me start by saying that one of the Unity basic principles has to do with the teachings of Jesus. And you can't understand the teachings of Jesus without an understanding of metaphysical interpretation of what he taught. And so we're missing the boat.
Where you are. Okay, go ahead.
So we're missing the boat at our church, at any Unity church, if we don't explore the real meaning of Jesus's teachings.
And when you say real meaning, the real meaning is something deeper, I think I hear you saying.
The real meaning is usually a spiritual lesson having to do with spiritual laws.
So it's not that you see it as there's on one level the story of Jesus, but then there's a deeper story that applies to all of us.
There is indeed a lot of history and a lot of biography in the Bible. There are also allegories and parables, lots of them.
Right.
And those use symbolic language that requires interpretation at a higher level of thinking. And by higher level of thinking, I mean raised vibratory rates so that there is an understanding of the spiritual nature of those words, what they mean, what they're referring to, the lessons they're trying to convey. And so it's the prefix meta, M-E-T-A, means beyond. So metaphysical is beyond the physical. Well, what's beyond the physical? The mental, the realm of mind, the realm of changing levels of consciousness, the realm of thought. And fortunately, the language of the Bible in allegories and parables is consistent in the words used that have hidden meanings. Let me give you an example or two of that. The word east with a capital E, E-A-S-T, refers to spirit, God, truth. So when the wise men came from the east, they came from a level of consciousness of truth, of spirit, you see. And the word east, wherever it's used in the Bible, has that meaning. The word 40, the number 40.
Yes. Yeah, that's mentioned a lot, isn't it?
It means a lengthy period of time, whatever it takes to get the task done.
Okay.
You see?
Okay. So let's just take that. So literally, if you can read it as literally 40 days and 40 nights or 40 years or whatever.
It doesn't mean literally 4 times 10.
Okay. It means, but metaphysically, it means however long it takes.
A lengthy period of time that it takes to do the job, whatever the job is.
Whatever it is.
Usually, a job in connection with spiritual growth or spiritual laws, spiritual practice.
Okay. Okay. So when a person reads the Bible literally, are they necessarily missing this deeper meaning that you're talking about?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And do you, like, I guess, how did you get interested in reading the Bible? Like, did you have biblical training in your growing up years, or?
No.
No.
Not more than anybody else. I went to Sunday school in a traditional Protestant church, a congregational church.
Okay.
But I had no pre-knowledge of metaphysical. I don't think I even knew that word until I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
And it is said that when the student is ready, a teacher will appear.
Yes.
Well, a teacher appeared in my life back in 1974 in the form of one of my wife's uncles, Uncle Paul, a retired Air Force pilot.
Oh.
And we visited him on vacation one summer. And while the ladies and the kids went off to do their thing, Paul and I had a chance to talk, like for several hours over a 2-day period. He introduced me to the Unity Church. He introduced me to the concept of reincarnation.
Oh.
He introduced me to the readings of Edgar Cayce, the writings of Emmett Fox, and of Vera Stanley Alder, Ancient Wisdom. And he introduced me to the concept of metaphysics, the deeper meaning of the Bible. And that really connected with me. It resonated with me.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, I took an interest.
Yeah.
And developed it.
Tell me, as long as I've been in Unity, I've wondered, is Unity's teachings about metaphysics? Unity churches or Unity, the founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, they didn't invent metaphysics, right?
Oh, no. Okay.
No. But they, would you say, expanded on the teachings or based their teachings on it?
I'm sure that the Fillmores were practicing metaphysicians, and metaphysics is defined as the science of being, and that implies our spiritual nature, the science of our spiritual nature. Now, that was Charles Fillmore's business, right? And
the science of it means that there are laws. Is that the correct way to look at it?
Absolutely, there are spiritual laws.
Okay.
And so when things go bad for a person, troubles, or when things go bad for a nation, troubles, like what we're going through now in the United States,
right?
It's because spiritual laws are not being followed. These are natural consequences. It's not some bearded man in the sky saying, you done this and now you're going to suffer. No, it's the innate laws of spirit that operate within us. They operate within the collective of us. They operate in the universe. And metaphysics includes the study of those laws.
Those laws, okay.
And also the emphasis on the deeper meanings of the Bible, which are best attained with a raised level of consciousness. Now, how does one raise his level of consciousness?
Yes.
The answer to that is one word, LOVE, an abundance of love in his thoughts. So a metaphysician, besides understanding laws of spirit, has to have a raised sense of consciousness reflecting an abundance of love in his thinking, consistent thinking with love, compassion, understanding, all the attributes of love that are so important. And
you're saying that even though these are laws, the laws have to be informed by love. In other words, it's not, because I think of Jesus saying, the spirit of the law. You have the letter of the law.
I'm saying that our understanding of the laws is easier to attain with a raised consciousness. A raised consciousness opens up for us the kingdom of heaven, which is the realm of divine ideas, the realm of divine concepts, the realm of truths. We open ourselves up to that realm. I mean, it's within us at all times, and it's available at all times, but it is easier to attain that with a consciousness that is filled with love. A consciousness filled with love operates at a higher frequency range of thoughts than our usual, rather mundane, day-to-day ways of thinking, or negative thinking that can be like shooting ourselves in the foot when it comes to spiritual growth.
So when you study the Bible from this metaphysical standpoint, do you then find these laws? Like, give me an example of a law that is metaphysically present in the Bible. Like, is there a way to see, for example, the 10 Commandments as metaphysically?
I think the 10 Commandments are pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Except, well, there are some words in the 10 Commandments that do need metaphysical interpretation. One would be adultery.
Okay.
You look up the word adultery in Fillmore's The Revealing Word.
Okay.
And you'll find a deeper meaning of the word than what we traditionally think.
Right.
And there are other examples too in the 10 Commandments.
So
But
even in something like the 10 Commandments, where we just said it's pretty straightforward, even that includes deeper meanings. Now, Charles Fillmore, did he study these deeper meanings?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I can only assume. But to get back to your question of a moment ago about an example
Yes.
of a law being broken,
Yes.
would be the story of the Tower of Babel.
Okay.
Now, the Tower of Babel appears in Genesis chapter 11. It's only 9 verses long, and it's a parable.
Okay.
It's a parable.
Refresh my memory here about the Tower of Babel. It's like a big mess. I do know that, remember that, but I don't remember that.
The word Babel means confusion.
Okay.
But this, let me kind of set the scene a little bit.
Okay.
The Bible starts off with an allegory about creation, the way God creates, the way we create. And then it moves on to the story of Adam and Eve, which some regard as a lengthy parable. Others would say it's an allegory. I don't care which side you're on there. And then it goes there, from there it goes into the genealogy of Adam, and then the story of Noah, which is a very interesting story from a metaphysical standpoint.
I bet.
Yeah, and then after Noah comes, I think, a whole chapter about the descendants of Noah, his three sons. One generation after another generation. You remember reading these genealogies, I'm sure. Okay, and then chapter 11 in Genesis presents the story of Babel. And it describes a group of people who came from the east.
Okay.
High level of thinking, God, spirit, truth, to a plane, Plain. Now the word plane, metaphysically, means, I'm going to look it up here, fear, doubt, any kind of negative thinking in contrast to a mountain or a hill. A mountain or a hill metaphysically means an uplifted state of consciousness. And these words are consistent throughout the Bible, so you don't have to look them up every time you come to them, you see?
So it doesn't change in meaning. It stays the same meaning, like you said, the East. The East always means in the Bible this higher knowing.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that first verse actually it's the second verse in Genesis 11. And as men migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, which is another Unity production, an exhaustive dictionary of about 800 pages that focuses on the names of people and the names of places in the Bible. So I looked up the word Shinar, and Shinar, besides being an area, perhaps with a village, means a divided mind, a belief in two powers, evil as well as good, dual thinking. So we have these people, descendants of Noah, apparently, who at one time had unity of thinking in their spiritual faith. Not perfect, but they all agreed that they were children of God. They came from that state to this plain filled with doubt and fear and dual thinking, and decided, by golly, come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly. Verse 3. And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Well, metaphysically, in the Bible, building materials represent our thoughts.
Oh, okay.
And thoughts have different qualities, right?
Right.
So if you build with stone or marble, those are noble thoughts. If you build with bricks, now the bricks of biblical days were mud.
They weren't very sturdy, right?
They weren't, no, and they crumbled easily.
Okay.
And this bitumen is like an oily substance. It's not a mortar, it's not cement. And they use the bitumen, to set the bricks for some stability. But it was not a strong construction. So they made these bricks and then said, come, let's build ourselves a city. Well, a city, metaphysically, and this is throughout the Bible, means one's state of consciousness, one's consciousness in its current state. So when they say they want to build a city, they apparently want to improve on their state of consciousness, which is fine, but they're using inferior thoughts to do that, you see?
Okay.
And they said, in addition to building a city, let's build a tower with its top in the heavens. Now, the heavens would be a higher spiritual state. This is their aim. But look at the materials that they're using. They're using error thinking in building their tower. And it did not work. It did not work. And to kind of shorten the story a little bit, the lesson here is that without God, you're not going to build the state of consciousness that you want. And these people forgot the inclusion of God. They were duality in their thoughts. They had fears. They had doubts. And that's the spiritual lesson of the Tower of Bible story is you cannot advance in your spiritual growth by omitting God.
So this is where the literal and the metaphysical, I mean, I'm sure that even literal interpretation, people that interpret literally would say something, like these ancient people tried to make something and it didn't work out. I mean, they would at least see that part of it, right?
The literal interpretation would be a real tower.
Yes, an
real
actual tower.
Right. Mud brick tower.
Right.
No.
Right.
And so I think an important lesson really in metaphysical interpretation is that you're not dealing with the literal, you're dealing with states of consciousness of people, of yourself.
Yeah.
Not the literal of what you read.
Right.
Now, this is particularly true with parables and allegories. Not necessarily true with the history that you read in the Bible and the biographies that you read in the Bible.
Well, and you made a point, and I want to go back to it. Before we started this, we were discussing the idea that the Bible was written this way for a reason. That whoever the writers of the Bible were, and there were probably a lot of different ones, they knew that they had to write, and you used the word code. Can you say more about that?
Well, that's my word.
Right.
From my limited understanding, there could be a couple of reasons why so much of the Bible is written in this code, as I say. That is, these words that have deeper meaning that are not obvious unless you really study the metaphysical languages. One of the reasons is that in the time of the Jews, it seems like they were always being persecuted, or they were always being conquered by somebody and ruled by somebody. And so for the sake of privacy in their teachings and their writings, they adapted this practice of symbolic words. And I think one of the words I shared with you was the word lamb, for example, referred to baby Jesus. And there was another one that I shared with you. What was it? Every Jew knew that Babylon meant Rome. You see?
But you couldn't say Rome, right? Because you'd get in trouble. You'd get in trouble if you said that, if you wrote that. So you had it right. And that, we can all relate to that idea of people in, repressive societies getting in trouble for writing certain things that they're not supposed to write. So it's a similar thing, right?
But there's another reason too, and perhaps this is even more important, and it's true with parables and allegories, I think particularly. Parables and allegories were used because they could apply to the learning of people in any circumstance. at any time, at any state of consciousness, whether it be people 2,000 years ago or people today. The adaptability of writing this way is such that people can benefit, can learn from it, no matter where they are, who they are, what they are. And so that is probably an even more important reason why the code.
Yes, yes. Well, because people, you know, humans respond to stories, and they respond to, as you're saying, parables or allegories. That's a human quality that, you know, our lives are built on stories, really. And so, you know, to use the direct language wouldn't have the impact of you hearing the parable, although I really want to talk more in our next meetings about some of these parables. You know, I think of the parable of the prodigal son, which is such a beautiful, deep, but you can look at it a bunch of different ways. I also think of the parable of I believe it's the 12 talents, where the man hires people to work and pays them the same whether they started at the beginning.
Yes.
Those are just so fascinating because the meaning of is not so obvious, and looking deeper gives you such a richer experience of what those are.
Yeah, there's a moral lesson in that, in the talent story. There's a moral lesson.
And it's a moral lesson and you know, we'll hopefully we will discuss this more, but it's a lesson that you wouldn't, it's counterintuitive is what I will say. It doesn't fit the law and order definition that you would think of. So, well, thank you so much, Kirk. And I want to mention briefly how we're going to be carrying this on. We're going to be doing this monthly. And several years ago, Kirk made a comment at one of our community meetings about our role in unity churches of teaching the Bible metaphysically. And this is one of with creating the spiritual ministry team, this is one of the foundational points of unity, is teaching the Bible metaphysically. So I'm learning a lot. I hope all of you are learning a lot. Kirk is our resident expert at this point. And
which is the sad commentary on our church.
Not at all. But I do think we do have, you know, I'm sure we have people at various levels of awareness, but generally most of us benefit, you know, even if it's a little bit of a, you know, oh, I've heard that before. We all know that the spiritual path means you get to hear it a lot of times, right? Before it actually begins to activate in your life. So thank you very much, Kirk.
Keep in mind, we did not talk about mystics or mysticism.
No, we didn't.
That's another subject.
That's another subject, and we need to talk about that.
To be continued, right?
Be continued, absolutely, because that is a huge question for a lot of people, including me, of how do we look at the Bible from a mystical standpoint? And you're saying that there's definitely, I hear you saying there's a difference.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, we will, as you say, to be continued.
To be continued.
Thank you. Okay. So we've come now to the time of our tithes and love offerings. We're so blessed at Unity of Tustin that so many of you have continued to offer your tithes and gifts to our community so we can continue to do our work, to offer our work to others. We've become, as you know, much more. One of the gifts of COVID has been we've moved ahead exponentially in our ability to live stream, to broadcast, to do all sorts of online activities that reaches our message out to so many people. So just know that all of your gifts are greatly appreciated. In the month of January, you will receive your annual statement from 2020 that will show all of the gifts you've given for the year. So join me in saying the love offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we'll have one more song from Sue Riley.
Come to me, I am ready to receive. 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 I am open to love. I am open to love. Come to me. I am open. I am ready to receive. Come to me. I am open. I am ready to receive. Ready to receive love. Ready to receive love. Ready to receive love. Ready to receive love. Love. Come to me, ready to receive. I am ready to receive. My heart is ready to receive. I am ready to receive. My heart is ready to receive. I am ready to receive. My heart is ready to receive. I am ready to
So let's end with a prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So thank you all for being with us tonight, and I hope to see you next week on Conscious Conversations.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper. deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in into the deepest kind of love, into the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.